Often students will ask why we're practicing etudes. An etude practice, which comprises a significant amount of our energy when we're trying to master the trumpet, deserves some thought. And there are a lot of different reasons to practice etudes. One of them is not to perform them because no one's ever going to really ask us to perform them. So we sometimes say to ourselves, why are we doing this? In looking at really successful players, I remember when I was young, I was a great eavesdropper. I remember listening to Adolf Hirseth practice, my last teacher, Gerard Schwartz, practice. Any number of great players. I received great inspiration from that and learned a lot, too. And it seemed to me that they were simply extracting more from their practice than other players. And one of the things I think is kind of interesting to bring up, because very often students want to know, what's the best exercise for this? What should I play in order to achieve that? And so on. And what I like to say is, actually everybody practices the same things. We all play the same scales, basically have the same etudes in front of us. But the best players simply get more from what they practice. They are able to connect with what they're practicing on a deeper level. And when I would see Adolf Hirseth play a Caffarelli melodic study or even a single Schlossberg study, and he would play and then stop. And there would be seeming to be almost, he was ingesting what he'd play, and then he would play again. And he could play a Schlossberg study and make it sound like the climactic point in a Strauss tone poem. Just a two-measure, arpeggiated drill. Or a four-line Caffarelli melodic study, and it would sound like it would remind you of the prelude to third act of Don Pasquale or something. So much drama. And he was just extracting so much of it. Gerard Schwartz could play an Arbin study, and he seemed to be finding a level of resonating, ringing brilliance on the simplest sort of repeated, articulated notes. So quite an impression to receive from these great artists. I believe that etudes are like little mirrors that the best players have, and they sort of hold these mirrors up to themselves, and they get information about their own playing. Sometimes students will study with an older teacher, and that teacher will have certain favorite etudes, and may say to those students, "This is all you need. This is all I do, and this is all you need to do to get these benefits from." And I would beg to differ from that. I believe that what young players need to do is learn a volume of literature. What I see, and after many, many years of teaching on a college level, is that the proper progression, in my mind, is that in those years of study, a trumpet student may very well learn anywhere between 70 and, say, 150 etudes. And we have, the Arbin characteristic studies, the Oscar Boehm 24 melodic studies, Werner, Wurm, Longinati, of course, Caffarelli, Beach, Vern Reynolds, Caffarelli, Saxa,